Hey, what's up guys? Nick Quintero here, and today I'm going to be drawing an abstract illustration of a woman sitting on the ground from a reference image that I found, all in Illustrator. All right, let's go. All right, so I moved my window of myself over to the side because I noticed it was covering up my layer box a lot of times. And I would say that I was doing something over here and you couldn't even see it. So hopefully this helps out. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is paste in this reference image that I got from Adobe stock. And I'm going to make my layer one a template, create a second layer, and go ahead and start drawing. Now this one should actually go pretty fast because it is pretty rough because I'm going for a really abstract look here. And I have this pose because what I'm picturing in my head is like this woman sitting with her legs kind of crossed, but this one is just a little bit different from what I actually want, but I think it's close enough to get started. Now, some people might say that I'm kind of cheating because I'm not really necessarily sketching this out and doing this from like start to finish like a lot of traditional artists would do. But this is just for some art that I want hung in my house. And, you know, I don't really care that it's cheating because I'm actually eventually going to project this image onto a piece of paper and sketch it and paint it to hang in my living room. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is take my pencil tool and I'm just going to start some really rough drawings around the shape of some of her body parts, like starting with the arm here. And when you draw with your pencil tool, it kind of takes some liberties about where these things are going to go. Like you see this sharp point that it made here. I don't necessarily want it to be a sharp point. So you can just take your pencil tool or keep your pencil tool selected and then draw back over those shapes and you can kind of change the way that the shape is shaped. Now, what you saw me do was press D, which is the default color palette. So it went back to this black and white look here. And I'm just going to draw a few more random shapes based on this face. And also, if you draw one line like that with the pencil tool and let go, you can keep the pencil tool selected. And then if you hover over one point, you can see that this icon comes up, and that means that you can just continue drawing your shape. And if you have that selected correctly and you draw a new shape, it'll close itself automatically. All right, so what I'm picturing in my head is a group of solid shapes that aren't going to touch. So for instance, if I'm drawing this leg here, I'm glad that I have this black stroke because it's really going to show me a preview of those gaps that I'm intending to have in this. Getting a little wonky because I can't really position myself where I want to with this microphone in my face. I'm hoping to get my new mic boom arm in the next couple of days, so that way I can put my microphone in front of me and have it right here in front of my face without this whole mic stand blocking my drawing arm. Okay, so I've got these general shapes. Now I know I don't really like the way that her leg comes kind of straight out here. So I know I'm going to be changing that in the final part of this design. You know, I think what I'm going to do is continue this here so that this space right here becomes more of one of those gaps that I was talking about. You'll see exactly what I mean in a minute. Okay, so there's two legs, one arm, there's another arm. Let's go ahead and just draw. that shape. Move it to the back. I use Command and the left bracket to move my pieces that are selected back in the canvas as I go. Or you could hold Shift and it'll shoot it all the way to the back. Or if you use the right bracket, it moves things up. Okay, I'm gonna draw over the top that she's wearing here. That's a good piece. And then maybe this hair separately as a piece. More hair. I kind of like that where she's looking back. I may leave that. That is a happy accident, as Bob Ross would say. And then I think I'm going to ignore those pants. Draw that shape there. Okay, so that is pretty much the basics of the shapes. Do that last one in there. I'm gonna go ahead and turn off my reference layer. So the thing that I noticed right away is that she is too wide in this pose here with her leg like this, because my print is going to be 18 by 24. So I need it to be a little bit taller. So I'm going to go ahead and make my canvas 18 by 24 so that I can see exactly the kind of shape that I need this to be. All right, so this is where I'm going to start taking some liberties and making some choices. So first, I'm going to lock this arm here on top. And I'm going to grab this leg, and just to make things easier for me, I'm going to fill it a different color. Okay, so you guys know I like to choose colors like red and pink, bright things that I can just see for myself. So I'm going to also go ahead and bump this one up here, because I'm going to make it so that this knee is higher and the A shape of this leg is a lot tighter. So what I'm going to do is press R to get to my rotate tool. Then I'm going to click where I want my center point to be. So this is where my leg is now going to rotate. So I'm just going to rotate that up so that that goes up into a higher point. Now, this is a little bit of the tricky part. You can't just bend that. And since this isn't Photoshop, we don't really have the puppet tool or anything like that. But one trick that I do is I'll go ahead and double click and isolate this so that I am only selecting the points on this leg. What I'm gonna do is press Q to get my, I think it's the lasso selection. And I'm just gonna grab the points over here on the left side of the leg. I'm gonna press R again for my rotate tool. And I'm gonna put my center point somewhere up there at the top of the knee. And then I'm just going to grab these points and pull them down. And you can see that pretty much did the trick to get her leg up there like that. Obviously, there's some weird stuff going on right here. And I think I'm gonna do it one more time over here at the ankle so that I can get her foot a little bit more flat. Now, obviously these things got kind of messed up, but the reason why I'm doing this so easily on my abstract drawing is because you can really just take that pencil tool again and smooth out these pieces, and even just kind of get rid of that by drawing over it, maybe even rounding it a little bit, and maybe possibly messing with this point here to round out the top of that knee. And that is pretty much exactly what I wanted. Maybe flatten that out just a little bit more, and let's eyedrop the white and escape back out. So now this arm here is kind of weird for that. I don't know why I can't select it. Oh, I locked it earlier. Duh. Okay. Command Shift right bracket to bring that arm up over everything. And now here I could do the same thing so that her arm is kind of resting up on her knee. Or, I mean, I kind of like the way that she's holding it right here. So maybe I'll just select these points the same way and just kind of pull her arm down here and then redraw these shapes so that they are more natural and less weird, and maybe even just kind of fake up what I want her arm to be doing. Also, in Illustrator 2021, if you hold Option while you have the pencil tool selected, it turns it into the smooth tool, and you can just kind of draw back over these lines and get a much smoother illustration there. This elbow might be just a little bit too low. Maybe this needs to be a little bit more like that. I don't know. So now it's kind of wrapped around her knee, and I know it looks a little weird, but I actually really like it. Okay, so since I drew this earlier, I've got a big gap here that I don't necessarily need. So I think what I'm gonna do is use the eraser tool to cut this path in half, and then probably just scale it and make sure it's all the way in the back so that it just sits behind this like front leg piece. Just like that. So now all of these are separate pieces of each other, but they sit together to create this form here. All right, I think this is pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and select all and group those and use my alignment tools to put it in the center. And now you'll really see what I'm talking about for the gaps between the pieces when I create this background that is black. And now when I select her, I'm actually going to invert it by pressing Shift X so that my fill and my stroke swap with each other. And I'm going to select my stroke and bump it up a little bit more. So this is basically the image that I'm going to have. I'm going to draw this out a little bit so you get more of that knee shape there. And cool, I think that looks pretty awesome. So now I'm going to go ahead and expand all of that selection so that my strokes are now solid shapes. And I'm going to go ahead and maybe, you know what? Perfect. Let's do this. Let's change this back to black and white. Let's hide our background layer. I just selected it and pressed Command 3. And then let's go ahead and copy this and open up Photoshop. Now I'm going to flatten this image, go to Filter Gallery. Actually, no, first I'm going to go to Blur. Gaussian blur, who knows? Gonna turn that up to about 4.5. Click OK. Hit that filter gallery and go to stamp. And I usually, oh, what's happening? It's zooming in a lot. I usually have my light dark settings up to about 48 and my smoothness like somewhere pretty low. I think that is perfect. I'm going to select all of it, copy it, go, whoa. It's always too big to export. Okay, so let's just click and drag this thing back into Illustrator. And I'm going to go ahead and live trace it. Now, as you can see, I have this preset called Type that I use, and I'll go ahead and show you the settings that I have there. So that way you can take a screenshot or something and just save this, and you can put this in your own Illustrator presets for your image trace, and make sure you ignore the white, hit expand, and now you've got this beautiful drawing here. Now it's just slightly different from what we had here, but to me, I just like the visuals of it. And really, honestly, for this, it doesn't even matter because I'm going to be hand painting this at the very, very end. So it's kind of stupid. All right. Oh, there it is. Got my background back, and I'm going to make that part white. And essentially, this is it. This is what I wanted. And I think now I can kind of play around with it because here I don't really have these filled. So I'm going to go to my Pathfinder and I'm going to click on this button here. And then I'm going to get my magic wand and deselect the white. And so now these unfilled panels are in there, and I'm just going to make it a new color, something we can see. I'm going to change the white to match the black. And now this is really much closer to what my final painted image will probably look like, because what I will probably do is make this some sort of like a cream color and make the black here. Whoa, let me lock this just so it doesn't do anything crazy. And maybe make this some sort of terracotta, orangish brown kind of color. And that is probably what my painting is going to end up looking like. I'm going to delete that inside color. And I'll leave the rest since that is technically the hair, right? I'm gonna leave it out. It looks good like that. So what I will probably do is use more of the line art version here to put into my projector so I can put my paper on the wall, sketch it out, and then paint it with some acrylics and some really basic brushes. All right, so that's pretty much it. There wasn't too much to learn or to teach in this one, but it was a project that I'm working on and I'm trying to do better about making videos every week. So I just wanted to show you guys what I was doing, and hopefully maybe there were some quick tips and tricks in this one, or at least it could bring up some questions that you guys could feel free to ask me in the comments below. And while you're down there, I would appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel so you can get more videos like this, all of my how-tos, and everything new as it pops up. You can also click that subscribe, or actually the little bell notification, so you can be notified every time I release a new video. Thank you guys who are already subscribing and following me on Instagram at NickQ. And I really appreciate all the love and support, all the nice comments. Thank you guys so much. If you have any suggestions on more videos that you want to see, more things you want me to show, please just leave a comment below or send me a DM on Instagram. Thank you guys so much, and I'll catch you on the next one.